Hi, I'm Jay, EscobarJ.com, and this video is 7 rich people habits that will change your life. Now, if you haven't watched the first video, go ahead and check that out. I'm going to put the link into the description below, so go ahead and watch the first video. Today, we're going to talk about waking up early. That is the second rich people habit that will change your life. Now, this one was really hard for me to do, for me to adopt at first. And it's been, especially at first, it's definitely a challenge to break your old habits, to break your old conditioning, especially particularly if you are a night owl, a gamer, somebody who just naturally stays up. And these are all habits that can be broken. Me, myself, I used to be an avid gamer. And I would stay up until 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, even 10 o'clock in the morning playing video games for a lot of years. And so my body was conditioned to sleep in that cycle. I'd sleep until 1, 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. I remember a couple times where I would, I'd go to bed when the sun was rising. So like as I was going to bed, the sun would be up. Or usually I'd be up, it'd be like right before the sun was coming up. So it'd still be dark outside. Or, I mean, there were plenty of times where I'd stay up where the sun was up when I went to bed. But I remember a few particular times where I went to bed right before the sun came up. So I didn't see the sun. And then I woke up and this was towards winter time. So, the sun it rises earlier and sets earlier as well. Or is it the other way around? The sun rises later and sets earlier. That's what it is. So I'd go to bed at wee hours in the morning and right before the sun would come up. And then there was a few times where I would literally sleep the entire day until I would wake up around 5 or 6 o'clock. And by that time, the sun had already been setting or it was already set. So I'm literally not getting any vitamin D, no sun exposure at all. I'm just like living in darkness. It's like, 30 Days of Night or whatever, that movie. And I didn't, that didn't happen all the time. There's only a few times that happened, but it can be really difficult to break those habits. So waking up early, it's going to drastically improve the production in your day. And when you have the discipline to seize the day, you're going to find that you have a lot more opportunity come your way. It's kind of the concept, Murphy's law of objects in motion tend to stay in motion. So when you're waking up early, taking on the day, getting things done, it's going to set you up for the whole rest of your day. You'll feel a lot more accomplished. You'll feel a lot more productive. And the cool thing, the one thing that I noticed doing this is when I started waking up a lot earlier and really focusing on tackling my day is by the time noon rolls around, because you've been up for 6, 7, 8 hours by the time noon rolls around, and that's quite a bit of time. You can get a lot done in that time, especially if you're waking up at 4 or 5 a.m. or before the kids are up, before everybody else is up. You have time to yourself. You can meditate, pray, you can exercise. You just have a lot more freedom. It just sets you up for the entire rest of your day. And by the time noon rolls around, it'll feel like you got more done in that morning and you have the whole rest of your day to do whatever, continuing working on your purpose or your mission or whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, your goals, or maybe you want to take some time, to spend with your family or something. You have the whole rest of your day. It's like, man, I got another 9 hours before I got to be in bed, or, I got a whole lot of stuff, I can do a whole lot of other things. And you feel like you get more done in that morning of that 6 or 7 hours in that morning than you do sometimes in entire days in the past. And so it really just sets you up for the entire rest of your day, and it can create a huge snowball effect, especially when you start being consistent at it. And so if you look at the most successful people in the world, a majority of them wake up at 4 or 5 a.m. to take advantage of the mornings. And if you're having a difficulty time doing this, or if you've tried it in the past, or if you just feel, oh, I'm a night owl. I promise you, I was a night owl. You can adapt, you can change. The way you begin to do it is you set a time that you're going to be in bed, no questions asked, no matter what. And I would even argue you want to be in bed 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes before that time. So let's say you want to be in bed by 9 o'clock. You actually want to physically be in bed by 8:45, 8:30, 8:45, 8:50, somewhere in there. And you want to have everything else done before that. You know, brush your teeth, you got your pajamas on if you wear pajamas. I personally sleep in my boxers, so that doesn't really apply to me. But, you know, I pray before I go to bed, review my goals before I go to bed. So you want to get all that stuff done before the 9 o'clock period. You don't want to be like at 9 o'clock, you're like starting to do those things and get ready for bed, because then that cuts into your sleeping time. And it's really important that you're disciplined in this. This is where you need to apply the most attention, is consciously thinking about going to sleep. And I mean, preparing to go to sleep beforehand. So that means you give yourself some buffer time to actually physically get into bed. So you're laying in bed ready to go to sleep by 8:45, 8:50, somewhere in there. So that and the idea behind this is you want to give yourself 10, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes to wind down and fall asleep. A lot of times, especially if you're going through stressful situations, if you're going through breakup, if you're going through tough times, even if you're not going through tough times, so if you have just a busy day, you got a lot of things running through your mind. It's hard to shut your mind off. And so you want to give yourself 10 minutes to just wind down, start focusing on your breathing. You can even do a sleep meditation beforehand to start sleeping. And that way, by the time 9 o'clock actually rolls around, you're actually sleeping at 9 o'clock. You're very close to being asleep. And the idea is, waking up at 4 or 5 a.m. And if you do this routine, I promise you, over the course of, you do a 90-day challenge, waking up at 4 or 5 a.m., that's going to begin the process of breaking your old habits and creating the new one. It's going to be very, very hard for you at first. And particularly if you've been a night owl for most of your life, then it's going to be difficult for you at first. The first week or 2 weeks, it's going to be very, very hard for you. But stick to it, and commit to a 90-day challenge, and focus on consciously being aware of when you go to bed. And I promise you, you will start waking up earlier, start tackling your day more, you'll start being more productive, and that habit will change your life. Promise you that. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, hit the little bell icon so you never miss any time I post a video. If you'd like to get my help with this topic, then the quickest way is to book a coaching session on my website, escobarj.com. You can also shoot me an email there, success story, or if you're struggling with something. At the very least, do me a favor, and maybe you know somebody who could really use this information. Share this on any social media platform with any of your friends and family. That is my purpose, is to help as many people as possible. But other than that, I hope you're always learning, always growing, and always pushing forward. And I will see you in the next video. Take care.